This is KGW News at 5.
Hello and welcome to KGW News this afternoon. I'm Joe Ranieri. Tonight I'm joined by one of our newest members of the KGW team, Sarah Bagby.
It's so good to be here. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, and we were just talking before we went on. You got some text from some of your friends saying it's snowing throughout the West Hills. And believe it or not, we're early March, the first week, full week of March, and we're going to be tracking some snow showers later on tonight and into tomorrow morning. Down to the valley floor, you're not going to be seeing any accumulation, although one model is trying to push for a little bit of some of those snow showers sticking on the ground, but you can kind of see where those heavier bands are. Now, if you're 500 feet and higher, that's where you could be seeing a mix of rain and snow the rest of tonight before we start to see some drier weather in the next couple of hours. But again, our next front moves on shore really after midnight. So we'll zoom out a little bit, and this is basically your weather headline as we head into the week. Cold air will be pushing through basically throughout the morning hours. We're still going to be seeing temperatures below average, but temperatures will be getting well above average or I should say below freezing for your daytime highs, with temperatures in the mid to the upper 40s most of the work week. I'll show you that in my detailed forecast in just a few minutes, but I want to talk about what you're going to be running into later on tonight. Just some passing showers, but what gets interesting is after midnight, this is all snow showers throughout basically southwest Washington and up and down the I-5 corridor throughout your morning commute. By 9-10 o'clock in the morning, things will start to improve a little bit, but we're going to transition to a more unstable air heading into the afternoon. That means there's a chance for some thunderstorms, some hail, and some heavy downpours. I'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
I have a lot of feelings about it, but also it's a baby step in a necessary direction.
Now, the city is moving forward on a safe rest village along the Peninsula Crossing Trail in North Portland. It will soon take place in place of a large, dangerous homeless camp and the Belmont Goats, which is kind of where the story begins. Our own Blair Best reports.
A herd on the move.
Here, guys.
The Belmont Goats.
You're okay. Come on, Gusty.
A North Portland staple, now in a new home, just about 100 feet away.
They're getting a new space because this area where we're on right now is being made into one of the local safe rest villages.
It's all to make room for one of the city's 6 low-barrier tiny pod villages for homeless people. And the Goats are not the only community that's had to move out.
They just came and cleared us out from over here kind of on a short notice, and apparently we probably won't be able to stay here either.
Terrence Freeman is one of the many homeless people forced to move his camp.
We have lots of stuff that we have to carry over.
So have they offered you a space in the Safe Rest Village that's going to be here?
No, they haven't.
People that were living in the encampment next to us were not offered an opportunity to apply for the space that's going to be here, and I have actively spoken about why I feel like that was unkind and uncaring.
The homeless camps along the Peninsula Crossing Trail have been a hotspot for police for several years now. In fact, a couple of weeks ago when we were here, we witnessed a shooting right where we're standing now. Now, if you come this way, you'll see that there's lots of trash and tents and leftover tarps. This is all from a recent camp removal that the city did to make room for the Safe Rest Village.
This is going to be a welcome sight for us.
Alan Cora sips a glass of champagne.
So we're toasting to the goats.
And watches his new neighbors, the Goats, replace what was once a crowded encampment outside his home.
We've been putting up with the 3 years worth of the homeless people living right in our backyard, and the city wasn't doing anything about it.
And those 3 years have been dangerous.
Gunshots almost nightly out here. We used to report them, but you gave up on that because the police wouldn't respond. Yelling, screaming.
The city will soon begin building the Peninsula Crossing Safe Rest Village, something neighbors are skeptical of. Some even tell us it will be the reason they sell their homes and move.
I'm not in favor of the safe rest villages. It's a good thing if somebody wants to go there, but you're not going to get these people to move into it.
I want to hope that it will make a difference in the lives of the people that live there.
We're told outreach teams from the city have been meeting with the homeless people here for months now. Now, some of the homeless people have been camping here for years and have connections with the area and say that they would love a spot in the Safe Rest Village. The city says they understand that, but can't guarantee it. In North Portland, Blair Best, KGW News.
Now to an update tonight. After a severe crash that happened on I84, we now know who that driver was and what happened to him. Yesterday, a driver went over an embankment and into the Columbia River. This happened near mile marker 23, just past the Corbett exit. Authorities said the driver died at the scene. He was 31-year-old Gorgonio Reyes Barbera of Hermiston. Authorities say he was speeding when the crash happened. Washington is making significant progress working through the state's rape kit backlog. The Attorney General's office and State Patrol have been trying to clear more than 10,000 rape kits. They plan to have the backlog resolved by the end of the year. Now, one case that has just been resolved includes a Spokane man accused of murdering a woman in California more than 40 years ago. Harold Carpenter has since been arrested after investigators found a DNA match from a recently tested rape kit.
That DNA is now going into a database that law enforcement agencies in Washington state, but around the country as well, can seek matches for unsolved crimes. And that's exactly what happened in this case.
Now, the untested rape kit had been sitting on a shelf since 1994. Washington changed its policies just last year. Now, any new kit that comes in must be tested within 45 days. Now to the fentanyl epidemic. Lawmakers in Salem have proposed a bill that would bring fentanyl education to the classroom. And we should note that the legislative process, it's just beginning. In fact, the first public hearing of this bill is scheduled for early next week. Now tonight, Mike Benner reports on how lawmakers in Oregon believe fentanyl education is a must, and they're not alone.
Oregon is by no means immune to our country's fentanyl epidemic. This video from late February shows Portland police officers chasing down a suspected fentanyl dealer, who upon his capture told authorities he was selling powdered fentanyl and pills laced with fentanyl because it paid more than his previous job as a roofer. It's an explanation that does not sit well with Jennifer Epstein.
That's crazy.
Epstein is all too familiar with the dangers of fentanyl. Back in December 2020, her son Cal, at just 18 years old, overdosed on fentanyl and died.
We have evidence on his phone that he reached out to a dealer on social media, on Snapchat. We know also that he did not expect to get fentanyl.
Count that among the many reasons why Epstein and her husband are working with Oregon state legislators on Senate Bill 238. The bill calls for age-appropriate fentanyl curriculum to be added to existing drug and alcohol classes in Oregon middle and high schools. The bill also aims to educate youth on the laws that provide immunity to people who report fentanyl use or seek help for themselves or others.
I believe this will save lives. I believe that kids need to hear this message from every angle. They need to hear it from their parents. They need to hear it from their doctors, from schools, on social media. Different kids will listen to different sources.
The introduction of Senate Bill 238 comes at a critical time. Just last month, a Franklin high schooler died of a suspected fentanyl overdose. 2 McDaniel High School students died in the same fashion in March of last year. And it wasn't any better in 2021. That year in Oregon, more than 60 people under the age of 24 died from fentanyl, a synthetic opioid 100 times stronger than morphine.
The street drug scene is much more dangerous than ever before, and the kids aren't aware of this. And they don't understand, actually many parents don't understand the danger of fentanyl and how it is deceptively being put into pills and powders.
Epstein believes educating our youth would go a long way in the fentanyl fight.
We feel like if we can alert them of the deception and the potency of how dangerous fentanyl is, they will be armed to make better choices.